high schoolers. We all love high school, right? Fuck how I love high school. I love high school so much. Fuck, man. Fuck a high school, bro. Fuck a high school. Guys, I think it's time to abolish high school. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I am MrFonrath, and today, you and I will be judging some anime. Mainly me, though, but like, you know, you're gonna be there, sitting in the corner in the chair, listening to me, judging some anime. We are gathered here for the 2025 fall season of anime. That's right. Now, I am a little late on this, not gonna lie, you know, even though I do this as a series, kind of. The reason I'm a little late is, you know, I had this, you know, I kind of had to, like, not, you know, do the, you know, the thing, I forgot. It is what it is. But we're here now. I even have my nerd glasses on, as you can see. Anyway, if you're new here, this is how it's going to work. We are going to be looking through this list of anime here. First things first, quick note. Not all of the shows, animated shows and everything are on this list. They never are for some reason, I don't know. Probably has to do with the fact that most of these are just, you know, Japanese anime, and they don't, a lot of the time they don't put the, you know, the Korean and Chinese stuff in here. So, you know, and a lot of those are pretty good. So, you know, it is what it is. But we're going to go through this list of anime. What we're going to do is we're going to look at the promotional art, the picture, and if we get a good feeling from it, we'll read the description. And eventually, I'll make the decision whether or not it's worth watching. Some might be hard to tell. Others, most of them, most likely, will be very easy to tell and will be not worth watching. And finally, before we get into it, I say this every time in this series, but I am a serious anime enjoyer. I do not like anime comedy most of the time. Most of anime comedy is complete dog shit, and I do not care for it. And also, I have a final rule, which is there are 5 tags. These things here, as you can see, there are 5 tags that I don't really like at all, and they are, if I'm remembering correctly, comedy, romance, school, ecchi, and harem. If any show has any 3 of those 5 together, it's most likely an instant skip. Not even a question. With all that said, let's just get right into it, shall we? With the first show, One Punch Man Season 3. Now, I am caught up with One Punch Man Season 2 and everything. I have seen both seasons, and while I am somewhat excited about One Punch Man, you know, the other day I was kind of just, you know, mindlessly browsing Twitter a little. I don't do so very often, but when I do, you know, let's just say I'm in a very bad mood, and I'm just kind of trying to distract myself. My point is, I saw someone showing kind of like a 5-second clip of the animation quality, and yeah, let's just say I've heard people talking about how bad the animation quality is for this season. It's reminding me of, you know, 7 Deadly Sins situation here. All the money is gone, apparently, or something. I don't know. Point is, I'll be watching this, but, yeah. Apparently, they kind of dropped the ball on the quality. Oh, yeah, and I forgot to mention this, but, I was sick, and I kind of still am a little bit sick. I was sick, some days ago, and I was feeling quite bad, and so I was just kind of binging random animes. I will admit I did watch quite a few of the first episodes of the new season. I know, I'm sorry. I should have waited until I made this video, but like, you know, I was feeling bad. Most of the time when I did so, I was eating. So, you know, like, can you blame me? Do you guys eat these days without watching anything? Can you even eat? Or are you sitting there, you know, you've made your food, it's sitting on your desk, and you're just kind of looking through YouTube, scrolling, looking for something interesting to watch while you eat. and you can't start eating until you found something to watch. If that's you, then, just know you're not alone. But yeah, like I have seen some of the first episodes to these shows, I will admit. When they come up, I'll say so. So, anyway, moving on. Spy Family Season 3. I'm surprised it's gotten this far. I guess it's very popular in Japan or something, but I'm not gonna lie, I stopped after, I think, the first season. I actually don't even remember. I think maybe halfway through the first season. If the first season was like 12 episodes, then I think I saw the entire season. Like, I think around that time, yeah, like 12 episodes or so. Honestly, Spy Family, personally, and maybe people don't agree, but like, I think it's the most like 7 out of 10 show I've ever seen. Maybe even like a 6.5. It is definitely not as good as people say it is. I literally don't even understand why people love it so much. People talk about how, I can't believe I have to say this, but like, I've seen people say that it has good writing. What? You're kidding, right? I don't remember where I saw this, but like, I saw someone say that it has good writing. And I laughed out loud. Brother, this show does not have good writing. It is a comedy show. At most, you might have a funny moment or two with Anya here, I think. I think that was her name. But this show does not have good writing. Quote unquote, good writing. Now, I could go into the reason why I think that, and so on and so forth, but ultimately, the short version is that it is a comedy. Right, when you're doing a comedy, and it's not a serious show, it doesn't take itself seriously, so it is a comedy show. And when you have a comedy show, you're not going to have quote-unquote good writing. You can have a little bit of slice of life as it is, and you have a little bit comedy, and I suppose occasional action, but most of the time it's a comedy, right? So it's a comedy show. Like, you don't expect good writing from a comedy show. You expect maybe funny moments from a comedy show, but that's about it, right? I guess you might say it's a very good comedy show, even though from what I saw from the first season, I to me it wasn't that funny even. I don't know. There was just a bunch of moments that didn't really make sense, considering the setting and the premise. Point is, not for me. I have not kept up with it, and will not continue watching it. Just one of those shows that I just don't understand why people like it so much. It's just not for me. Not my cup of tea. My Hero Academia, final season. They said that about Attack on Titan too. The final season. Then it's the final season part 1. Then it's the final season part 2. Then it's the final season part 3. Then it's the final season movie part 1. Then it's the final season movie part 2. I don't put much faith into this final season. Final season my ass, is what I say to that. If it is the final season, then maybe eventually I might actually start watching My Hero Academia again. Who knows? All I know is that I stopped watching around season 4, I believe. I think season 4 was fuck, I forgot his name. Overhaul? I stopped watching after Overhaul. That was about it. I would assume if you're keeping up with it, it's definitely worth watching. And same with Spy Family as well. If you like that sort of thing, then sure, by all means. But so far, first 3 sequel seasons, right? Speaking of, season 3 of this thing, whatever this thing is, I'm not even gonna bother trying to pronounce these things. Can't blame me for that. I don't speak Japanese. This is actually on my list of things to watch. I have not gotten to it yet. And to be honest, I'm not gonna lie. This picture is not really making me want to watch it anymore. If anything, it's actually making me want to watch it even less. Because I believe from the first season's promotional art and everything, it was a lot more like solitary and lonely feeling, or at least I thought so. But here it seems like, they're like happily around a dinner table, eating with like a whole family, and it's like, ooh. But who knows? I don't know anything about the show yet, not really. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. Considering it has a third season, there must be something about it, right? So, again, I would say kind of hard to say for me. As I said, it is on my list, so it's probably worth watching, but can't really say. Ooh, okay. Unfortunately, like, you see, the name is like blocks half the fucking picture for some reason. I don't know why they do it like that, but I saw the first season of this. This is one of the shows that I watched the first season to. First episode to. Episode. I watched the first episode of this show. It is okay. So this one's kind of okay. It is trash isekai. It is. It is trash isekai. Also from the promotional art here, you can see main character Kirito motherfucking looking ass, all in black, assassin class, dark hair, kind of short dark hair or medium. I don't know what you call that. Girl. I think that's a guy, maybe? I don't know. And then another guy. Now, it's kind of mixed, right? Which is good, which is a good sign. But yeah, in the first episode, it's basically just a entire school class gets reincarnated, or not reincarnated, teleported into a fantasy world as heroes. We've seen this premise many times before. The good part, I suppose, is that the main character seems to be a little bit smarter than your average isekai protagonist, but there were multiple parts in the first episode where I was like, okay, just some things that didn't really make sense, and the premise is very overdone already. So it's like, this might get better, or it might not. I will say though, out of the first episodes that I watched to some of these shows, this is definitely something to look out for. Like, it might get better, but it also might not. At least it's one of the better ones that I watched. I will say that. Moving on, we have something about, if I'm reading this correctly, my friend's little sister is annoying to me or something. So, as you can see, comedy, romance, 2 out of 5. Uh-oh. Something, friendships, even having a girlfriend is a complete waste of time. So when his best friend keeps teasing him, best friend's sister, I mean, he finds it annoying, practically lives in his room, she's on it. This sounds just like pointless, like, this seems like a pointless kind of waste of animation, to be honest. It seems like one of those situations where the guy doesn't really like the girl or doesn't really care at all. The girl constantly keeps teasing him. They throw in a bunch of like sexual teasing in the, sexual fan service type of thing. And then maybe eventually the guy starts, falling for the girl over time. And it's like, it's so, I don't know. Shit like this is just so... I really don't understand why people watch this type of shit at all. I don't really get it at all. This just... I mean, you look at this picture and you're like, yeah. I'm pretty sure we've seen like 700 anime like this. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely nothing about... Like, I've seen all of these characters before. By the way, like, when their designs, I mean. I've seen all of them before, and I'm willing to bet, even without watching the first episode of this show, that I've seen their personalities before as well. And I've seen everything they have. I've most likely seen everything that these characters can provide in the show before. I've seen everything here before, most likely. I'm gonna be honest here, this screams mediocrity. It really does. So this is gonna be a skip from me. Moving on, we have... I believe the English version of this is Dungeon Meshi or something. Apparently, or no. Actually, no, this is a different show. Never mind. Dungeon Meshi is the other show about isekai. Well, not isekai, but like fantasy world cooking, right? This is a different show. I remember watching this actually. The guy has, some sort of like online like grocery store power that he can just buy shit from on like a magical grocery store or something, and then cooks for a bunch of magical creatures and people in a fantasy world. It was pretty decent. I mean, it was kind of like just a feel-good, happy cooking show, I guess. As I said, I did see the first season. I enjoyed it, kind of. Nothing really too unique. Just very, I don't know, feel-good, almost slice-of-lifey, adventure cooking show. Fantasy. I think it's worth watching. It's kind of like, you know, if you have nothing better to watch or do, then this is something to just check out, I guess. Ooh, okay. This is where the fun begins. Okay, so I watched, I believe I watched the first 2 episodes of this. I would have watched only 1 episode, but honestly, it was pretty good, and I was like, I kind of want to see the second episode. This is probably gonna be, probably, not for sure, but probably going to be one of the better shows of this season. And it's very obvious. Okay, let's read the description, right? I've come to eat you. So softly utters the mermaid Shiori as she emerges from the sea and takes high school girl Hinako by the hand. Hinako lives alone in a town by the sea and possesses an unusually delicious body, that's what she said, that is irresistible to nearby monsters. To ensure that she matures to the best condition, Shiori seeks to protect Hinako also that someday she can devour every piece of her. What will become of Hinako's feelings as this looming unjust death closes in on her? Now, a couple of things. You know, there were a couple of questions as I was watching it. Why is everything happening now all of a sudden? Right, which is not really explained. But regardless, drama, horror, psychological romance, supernatural pretty much sums it up. Basically, it's not really a spoiler considering it happens, or it's shown very early on, but the main character, Hinako, is basically suicidal because most likely, don't know yet, but, and I suppose they kind of confirm it here, but she lost her family. It's not actively said, but it's implied very early on that she lost her entire family, and so she's a little bit suicidal. I pretty much liked everything about it, but my main worry with this show is it is not easy to portray a character being depressed and suicidal. For instance, it becomes a little bit cringe if a character is suicidal for reasons that the audience doesn't think is good enough, or like quote-unquote bad enough for a character to be so depressed and or suicidal, right? So it's like if her reasoning for being suicidal isn't good enough, then you kind of lose the immersion. If the audience watches the show and is like, oh, this character, you know, wants to die, but you think to yourself, but you know, her life isn't that bad. She has friends, she has everything going for her, why is she so sad, right? In that case, the audience will feel like, well, why does she want to die? Like, you know, her life isn't that bad, and you're kind of drawn out of the immersion. So the most important thing for them to do is actually show that she has very good reason to want to die. I would say they are doing a very good job with portraying her depression and everything. So finally, I will say that this show is definitely worth watching or checking out. And I'm not saying that just because the show is likely going to have Yuri in it, but if that was the only thing that was in it, I would definitely still say that you should watch it because it has Yuri in it. Just watch it. You know, it's definitely worth. Moving on, we have skip. Okay, fine. Why am I skipping this? Look at the art style. Look at the main character here. Do we even care? Who the fuck is this? Fucking Santa Claus? Like, I mean, look at this. This is either a battle action shonen show, or it's for children, or it's like some, like, I just, You'd be surprised how much animation style, or not animation style, art style matters when it comes to tone. And when I see this picture, when I see this character here, this protagonist, and the art style for, you know, the face and everything, it's like, I can't take it seriously. Maybe like, you know, reading this, getting attacked with a kitchen knife by his classmate. I mean, this sounds pretty serious, right? But then you see this and it's like, why do they look like this? You know, why do they have to look like this? Why do they have to make them look like this? Okay, well, I checked the PV and this is like a show that doesn't know what it wants to be. Or I should probably say it because it's most likely, yeah, source manga, right? This seems like something like a mangaka who probably has more of a kind of a cartoony, childish art style, decided to write a more serious story, but then at the same time is like, hey, I want to add a little bit of comedy in here, so they add like a Santa Claus who's, you know, kicking people's asses naked or something, and it's like, first you have kind of an art style that doesn't really fit the tone that you try to set with the seriousness, and then you at the same time also want to add some sort of weird joke stuff to the show as well, and it's like, it just feels like a weird amalgamation of all kinds of different, like, tones. At first I said, you know, it's probably gonna be, like, not my cup of tea, and it probably isn't, I'm not gonna lie, but then again, you know, from what I saw in the PV, like, it seems like, you know, attacked by a kitchen knife. I mean, there was blood and shit, and people shooting at each other with guns, and I'm like, maybe? But then I look at this picture and I'm like, this might be one of those shows that I will not watch just because I don't like the art style, but in reality, it's pretty good. I'm gonna put this as a maybe, as a like, I don't really know what the fuck is going on here. Moving on, Ranma, skip. I have no opinion on this. I've never seen the original. I've never seen, like, I'm not gonna be watching this either. So it's like, you know, comedy romance. Even if I gave it a fair shot, it's just comedy romance, right? So it's like, what the fuck am I watching here? Jesus, what the fuck is this shit, brother? What is wrong with these people? Can you just put a single word as a name? Like, what? This is, oh my god, this is getting ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous, brother. Please. Why do you keep doing that? What the hell is even that? Okay. Jesus Christ, bro. They have a goddamn essay as the title. Let's look at this for a second, right? So, check the picture first. Immediately, I am saying, let's go over the list here. Oh, actually, action, adventure, fantasy. Okay. Let's go over the first thing. Main character in the center, Kirito motherfucking looking ass, right? Girl. You see? These types of shows are what I call soft harems. Basically shows that don't actively push into the harem trope, but it's very clear that the main character, you know, is a guy, and then everyone around him is a girl who they might not be romantically interested necessarily, but they will be friendly with him, and they will be his friends, maybe their party members or something. It's like a soft harem, right? Everyone's kind of around him, his friends and stuff like that. Maybe not, as I said, romantically interested, but ultimately it's a soft harem. And then number two, the second thing that I want to point out immediately is if you look closely here, right? If you look closely, big smile. Yes, big smile. Why are you smiling? She has a smile as well. She has a smile as well. She has a smile as well. Everyone's fucking smiling. Why? And the reason this is so important is because when I look at your promotional art and I see everyone smiling and happy, I immediately think, oh, so you're not going to take yourself seriously. You're not going to tell a serious story. There's not going to be any danger or tension or anything sad or depressing or, you know, like anything bad happening. All the characters smiling on the promotional art gives a certain tone. It immediately tells you what type of show it's going to be. When everyone's smiling, that means that it's going to be a carefree, happy adventure where nothing bad is ever going to happen, most likely. These days, if you have characters on the promotional art smiling like this, you can pretty much already gather that it's going to be isekai trash. I don't think I watched the first episode. Not gonna lie, they all kind of merge together in my head. When Light is kicked out of the Concord of the tribes, his former comrades instantly turn on him. Classic, we've seen this before. You know, the party members throw him out of the party and not realizing that he was the strongest in the party, but he was like a support or something. We'll get to that. There's another show exactly like that in this season, but we'll get to it, I'm sure. He escapes his diabolical act of betrayal by the skin of his teeth, only to find himself in the deepest part of the abyss, the most dangerous dungeon in the realm. We've literally seen this exact... Dude, oh my god. We have seen this exact thing. I believe either last season or the season before that. We saw the exact same thing. There was a guy, I don't know the name of the show, but there was a guy who was in a party, and I think he was like a very weak class or something. I don't remember. He was like a class that's like the weakest class, I think like a support class or something. And then they got in over their heads in a dungeon, and then the rest of the party sacrificed the guy, essentially kicked him out. And then he fell down like a big hole in the dungeon, essentially escaping the diabolical act of betrayal by the skin of his teeth, only to find himself in the deepest part of the abyss. Exactly what happened there. The most dangerous dungeon in the realm. I don't know if it was the most dangerous one, but it was definitely very dangerous, right? And he fell all the way to the bottom, and there was a big tree, and then the tree has like a sexy spirit girl in it, and then he was nice to the tree, and then the spirit girl blessed him, and blah blah blah. You know, point is, we see this shit over and over and over and over. I mean, I suppose if you like trash isekai, this is probably for you. Otherwise, it's pointless. It's just trash isekai. Let's be honest here. It's trash isekai. Ooh. This one. I watched the first episode of this. This one's interesting. Let's talk about this one. This one is kinda like an isekai, but it's more like guy is in a cryogenic, cryostasis pod, wakes up, doesn't really remember how he got there or what happened, and finds out that the world as he knows it, the modern world, has been destroyed, essentially, kind of almost like Dr. Stone style, but not really. Let's read the description here. When growing tensions around AI spark civil unrest, Akira is caught in the crossfire when he protects his girlfriend from an assassin's bullet. I didn't see any of that in the first episode, but okay. Hundreds of years later, he awakens from cryogenic sleep to an unfamiliar world. As he struggles to come to terms with his new reality, he bonds with an android called Yugure, who bears an uncanny resemblance to his girlfriend. Now he must ask himself what love means in a world where technology has changed the very fabric of society. This is good. Or at least from the first episode that I saw, this is good. However, even in the first episode, I already got glimpses of kinda like some weird shit, you know? Like, for instance, this girlfriend that they mention here, right, is actually apparently his sister? Or something? Like, you know, obviously, most likely, no chromo. They're not blood related, most likely. But that was already kind of weird. I don't remember what the second one was, but there was something else that I wasn't really exactly, like, a fan of. I don't remember what it was, but I mean, I will say that this is definitely better than most of the other trash isekai bullshits, even though it's not an isekai, but like, you know, point is, it's better. It's better than most of the other things in this list. From the first episode, at least, that's the feeling I got. It actually felt like there was tension. The show was taking itself seriously. Everything was decent. So it's worth checking out. Also, we gotta go faster. I keep yapping too much. Comedy, romance. Even though she has a reputation in the office, so it's not a school. Okay, that's good. That's a plus, I guess. They're adults. Intense, strict, and scary. She's actually just awkward. When she learns she has to train Kamegawa, the cute, nerdy newbie. Okay, she's at a complete loss. I mean, maybe. You know, at least they're not teenagers. They're a little bit older than teenagers, which is good. As long as they can keep the cringe anime comedy to a minimum and actually maybe focus on actual like adult relationship stuff, maybe. But I don't know. I'm not a fan of romance in general, so I can't really say. It's hard to say. Maybe it's a decent romance, who knows. Again, comedy romance. Oh. And let me guess, school kids. Yay, high schoolers, bro. High schoolers. We all love high school, right? Fuck how I love high school. I love high school so much. Fuck, man. Fuck a high school, bro. Fuck a high school. The most popular kid in his high school. Okay, first off, let me talk about this real quick. If you're listening to this, I'm asking you a question here, okay? Tell me right now. Do you want to see like 15, 16-year-olds doing romance stuff or relationship stuff? No? Yeah, me neither. I don't think any adult wants that. It's one thing if you have two adults in a romantic like story or something, but like no one wants to see children doing romance. No one. Not really, right? Unless it's maybe a little bit Yuri, right? At least Yuri kind of like balances it out, right? But no one really cares about fucking high schoolers. I wish they would move on from this stupid fucking high school trope thing. It's so annoying. One day, I pray for the day that anime just moves on. Japanese anime just fucking moves on from this high school bullshit. Fuck the high school, bro. Okay, so moving on, we have this show. So this one, I saw someone say that it's actually kind of good, or it gets good. I saw the first episode, and I'm not gonna lie, this is such a trash isekai. This is the most trash isekai that I've ever seen. Like, and not the worst one, I mean like it has all the makings of a trash isekai. It is the ultimate mixture of all the trash isekai tropes that we've seen in all the trash isekais. This is, bear in mind, it's not even an isekai, it's just fantasy, right? The main character is not reincarnated, as far as I know. But it is the perfect mix of all the stupid tropes that we've already seen. Basically, as we had earlier, a guy gets thrown out of his party, but turns out, surprise, surprise, he was actually the strongest in the party who held the party together and was the reason why the party did as well as it did and got as far as it did in the dungeons. And so when he gets fired and kicked out of the party, then that party who fired him starts realizing, oh no, we can't even deal with some basic dungeons anymore because like something must be wrong. It definitely isn't us, and it definitely couldn't have been that guy that we fired who was our supporter, support magic, right? So it must be something else. And then they slowly realize, oh, it was actually the guy that they fired and kicked out of their party that was actually the reason why they succeeded. So basically, yeah, they do the suddenly fired and banished from the court and the party. And then, he meets his former party members, his former friends, and then they makes, a party with them and so on and so forth. We've seen this 700 times before. We see pretty much a show like this every season. And I watched the first episode and it was the most 5 out of 10 thing I've ever seen. The most average of average things I've ever seen. Unless they can do something in the second episode, yeah, I'm not going to continue with this, most likely. It's such a, as I said, the most average cookie cutter fantasy tropes that I've ever seen. It is what it is. Disney Twisted Wonderland, the animation. What the fuck is this shit? Blah, 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 blah. It's like Disney or something? It's made by Disney? Oh, of course it's an isekai. Of course it's an isekai. Why wouldn't it be? Yeah, no. I don't care. It seems kind of like yaoi as well, not gonna lie, considering pretty much every character in the show is a guy. Not a fan of yaoi, not gonna lie. But also, it just seems like, once again, it's a isekai, reincarnation, but also it's like, how do you take a show that just fucks around seriously? It just seems like a show that isn't taking itself seriously and is doing a bunch of like Disney magical stuff. And even though they don't have the comedy tag here, from what the PV showed me, it looked very kind of heavily leaning into comedy almost. Or maybe I just took what they consider to be serious stuff as comedy, because it's... I don't know. To me, it seemed like comedy, so who knows? Regardless, I mean, it looks pretty, but I'm probably gonna skip it. Moving on, we have comedy, romance, slice of life. Just looking at this, I mean, blah 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 blah. Romantic comedy between an anxious girl and a boy who's always injured. It's just a skip, bro. Just a fucking skip. You know, it's like, brother, like, there's like a million of these types of shows already, and it's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm burned out. I'm just burned out of all these types of shows. You know, they don't do anything unique. They don't even try. What they should do in situations like this is add some sort of serious factor, like a supernatural, like Death Note or something. Like a note of death falls into their group, and then they have to figure out what to do with this Death Note. Like, that would be interesting. But no, it's comedy, romance, slice of life, skip. Madhouse, drama, sports, what sports? What sport is it? What sport is it? Something, you know, no attention, hard to get by with a stutter. True, can relate. He's another first year, dancing. Okay, so it's a dance club. Okay, seems kind of gay, not gonna lie. Could be good because it's Madhouse. But dance, I don't really care about dance, to be honest. I suppose the one thing that might be decent here is that because it's dance, it might be pretty well animated. Yeah, no, this is definitely not for me. Unfortunately, I think dance is cringe. I do. Okay, well, not all dance. I think the classical kind of like waltz dancing and stuff like that, like the more graceful, slow dance type of stuff, more nice to watch. But the more modern hip-hop, the K-pop dancing, that's like cringe to me. Probably just me, who knows, I don't know. Not my cup of tea. You want to know what I consider good dance? You want to know what I consider good dancing? Let me show you. This is what I consider good dancing, okay? Let's watch this. I've already seen this, of course, but... And if you've seen this, if you know what this is, based.
My gaze has lingered on her for quite a while. And tonight, I initiate our first engagement. A Galaxy Ranger, as mysterious as the rumors suggest. A blend of nobility and reticence. Yet, in this nocturnal hunt, the Ranger is not the only one who hunts. At this distance,
See, this is what I
you're more
consider
enchanting
good
than
dance.
you seem.
The elegance, the charisma.
Without
Right?
a doubt, she seeks the Watchmaker's legacy. In this game, everyone lies.
And obviously the best component,
do not.
Yuri. But you see the I guess, yeah, charisma is the best word to describe this.
Just keeps on getting better, doesn't it?
It does.
Everyone has a past, and the past shapes the present. Some people hold on to memories, while others are haunted by them, unable to escape. That is why I took action. I want to know what she is. Many were drawn.
I'm telling you, this shit is so good.
IPC.
But that's basically what I consider good dance, right? This is gonna be like the more like, you know, K-pop type of like modern day hip hop dance, most likely. So, you know, not my cup of tea. Moving on. I saw the first episode of this one as well. This one, surprisingly, the first episode wasn't as bad as you would think it is. Of course, it's a fucking reincarnation, it's an isekai, but it doesn't really matter. I suppose we can read this. Ellen, an 8-year-old girl and half-spirit, once lived as a scientist, blah blah, now she's reincarnated, blah blah. Her father and the kingdom's legendary hero, and Origin, her mother, and the Queen of Spirits. On top of that, Ellen herself has power to manipulate chemical elements, but are Ellen's powers enough to protect their family's happiness? There was, as I said, I saw the first episode, there was quite a bit of like, surprisingly like, political intrigue. Not too deep, of course, not too deep in terms of politics, but definitely more than some other trash isekai shows do, so you know, there might be something more interesting here. What I don't like is that I don't like this, right? This romance tag could, of course, mean that they're talking about the romance between the father and the mother, which there is plenty of. But usually, whenever I see romance, and then I see an 8-year-old girl, and then I see this character here, as you can see, I immediately think, uh-oh. This kid seems maybe a little older than her, but, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to... Because for some reason, a lot of these shows where it's like a reincarnated adult in the body of a child, they feel the need to give the main character, who's an adult in the body of a child, they feel the need to give this character child friends that they grow up with and then get romantically involved with. And it's just extremely cringe. So I'm hoping that that's not going to be the case, and this romance tag only applies to the father and the mother who are romantically involved and everything. And I hope that the romance has nothing to do with the 8-year-old supposedly main character. Regardless, as for is it worth watching, I mean, the first episode was decent. It's like, it didn't immediately make me want to puke, right? So it's like, yeah, I suppose if you're into isekai, I suppose you can give it a first episode watch, see how you like it. Maybe second episode gets even better, who knows? But I will continue with this. I will say I will continue with this. The first episode wasn't too bad. Moving on, we have a skip. The reason I skipped this is main character is obviously the girl, probably in a fantasy world or some sort of Victorian era, and then 2 handsome guys vying for her romance, most likely. Attacked by a monster, only to be saved by a guy. Of course, it's just the classic reverse harem or reverse romance, like triangle. Main female character gets saved because they're damsel in distress, saved by the hot guy, prince or duke, so on and so forth. Pretty much all of these types of shows are the same, and I'm never interested. I'm just never interested. Maybe if you are interested in those types of shows, by all means. Not for me though. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Comedy, romance, slice of life, school, like, I'm sorry, but like, didn't we just see this? Didn't we just see this exact same thing? Let's go up here. Let me see here. We saw it here. We kind of saw it here. Oh yeah, we saw it here. Then we see it here as well. Like, dude, this right here. And then this, same thing. Exactly the same fucking thing. Right? I mean, it's not the same thing, obviously, but it's the same thing. Right? It's like the same fucking thing. It's high school with a bunch of characters, 6 characters here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 characters here, 3 guys here, 3 girls here, 3 guys here, 3 girls here. It's the same fucking thing. They're all the same fucking thing. Comedy, romance, slice of life. Comedy, romance, slice of life. It's the exact same show with maybe like a difference of the main character slightly. They're all the same shit. So skip. Just skip. I'm so done with these high school comedy romance slice of lives. You see one, you've seen them all. Moving on. Uma Musume. Nope. I'm not even gonna bother. Haven't played the game either. The gacha game, I mean. Second season of something? I don't remember ever seeing anything like this. Comedy ecchi. I see probably why I haven't ever seen this. Romance comedy ecchi. 3 out of 5. Skip. Gintama. I mean, it's Gintama, right? Like, I'm not caught up or anything. I haven't watched it in many, many years. So gonna be a skip for me. If you're keeping up with Gintama, then sure. But like, you know, it's Gintama. At least Gintama is funny. Last time I checked. Moving on, we have once again main girl. I don't even need to read the description here to know that this girl is the protagonist. How do I know this? Is because, and this is something that you might have noticed as well. If the guys are seemingly adult-ish and quote-unquote cool looking, then the main character is always a woman. Yeah. If the guys are, let me give you an example here. If the guys are, I don't know. Yeah, if the guys are like this guy, right? Then you can say that the main character is a guy. But if the guys are made to look kind of more cool looking like this guy, or, you know, these guys who are like more elegant and like more like, you know, Lelouch v Britannia, or, you know, they're more like elegant looking and cooler looking, then the main character is always a girl. And I don't know why they do this. Or, well, I do know why they do this, but it's like they are doing it because they're fucking stupid. That's why. They're doing it because self-insert, but if you continue thinking about it, you would think that people want to self-insert themselves into being a cool character, right? There's a reason why when you're playing a video game, you wanna, and you're creating your own character, you try to make that character look as cool as possible, and or as sexy or as hot as possible, right? People love playing or inserting themselves into cool and hot-looking characters because it's an escape, it's a fantasy, right? You think something like Code Geass, you know, Lelouch v Britannia would be as popular as he is if he looked like one of these fucking average Kirito motherfucking looking asses? Like fucking this guy? You think Code Geass would be anywhere near as good as it is if the main character looked like this? Yeah, no. Hell fucking no. But yeah, my point is that it's annoying to me that a lot of these shows where the main character is a guy, the guy always looks average or below average. Kind of just dumb. Why can't the main character ever be like cool looking like this? Don't know. Guess they're fucking stupid. Anyway, skip. Not gonna watch that shit. Again, high school romance between 2 characters. Just skip. This again, comedy, slice of life, supernatural. I mean, not gonna lie, for a second I glanced at this and I read mythical cocksuckers. Jesus, I guess it has like, it's like a comedy slice of life with a vampire. just, I don't know, skip, not really worth. Most of these are like, you know, the shittier ones at the bottom of the list. No. Reverse harem stuff. This one, maybe. I do think journey type shows with 2 characters can be pretty decent. Travel through an empty post-apocalyptic world. They photograph the scenery of famous places. They camp out in towns full of nature. Like, this one actually might be interesting. I will say this one. Okay, I will put this one as well up here. No. Literally, like, let me show you. We'll get to that. Hang on. Again, this would look nice if it didn't have comedy and romance here, so no. This one, 2nd season. I haven't seen the 1st season, so I cannot really say. Maybe, who knows? Again, I haven't seen the 1st season. This is a maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's a decent slice of life. I don't know. This one, high schooler this, high schooler that. Guys, I think it's time to abolish high school. Bumps into a fellow tardy student. She's surprised to find out he's a beast frog, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, very... His kind-heartedness and his body. So it's basically like a furry thing, okay. Yeah, not interested. Just not interested in this either. Kingdom, 6th season. I haven't seen Kingdom. I've heard it's pretty decent. Whatever the fuck this is. Leaves his estate from blah blah, gifted to spirits, protected by ghostly companions. One night he slips out and witnesses a brutal murder. Ooh, I like keyword, brutal murder. Soon after, Edo is plagued by a series of eerie murders. Okay, this might actually be decent. Okay, picture looks like there's adults and stuff. You know, characters are smiling, but you know, At least it's fantasy and mystery. Maybe. No, you already know, no, you know. What the fuck did I just say? You already know, no, you know, English. Some sort of battle anime with a guy having like a 12-pack, bunch of like characters here, battle royale probably, who knows, not interested. I'm just done with all these like wannabe pointless battle anime that have no stories in them. So skip. Yeah, I'm not even gonna bother with this one. Sound of Heroes, let me guess, 5 characters in some sort, again, a music group. They're actually heroes in disguise. I feel like we've had a show like this like every season since like 2 years ago or something. I can distinctly remember at least 2 other shows. In those shows, all the 5 of the characters were female, but I can distinctly remember 2 different shows already in like the 2 previous seasons, I think, where there were 5 girls who like did music and then also were fighting some sort of like monsters in post-apocalyptic Japan or something. Like if they could just do like if it's like a post-apocalyptic situation, let's say, and then they're just 5 musicians who like meet each other and form a band or something, and then they play for the remnants of humanity, and then they become like maybe this group of people known to spread hope. Like that would be so much interesting. But no, we have to add battles, and they're actually heroes in disguise, battling against mysterious forces threatening the... Like, why? Why? You don't need this. Music and action do not go together. Not really. I mean, maybe you can somehow make it work, but like, the only time I think I've seen music and action work together is Vivi. But, I mean, I guess we'll see, No, don't care, nope. Don't care. This one, I mean... something, fantasy romance... What the fuck? Did they like try to make an anime with like live 2D or something? Jesus Christ. Nah. Moving on. Nope. Leftovers, I still haven't checked this. I think last season I said might be something to check out, but again, I've been watching a lot of trash, have not gotten to it. Did not check this out either. I checked Solo Camp, I think the first episode, and it was kind of like, maybe if you're like feeling kind of slice of lifey, maybe it's decent. And then movies. I don't know. Nothing that really stands out. OVAs. Huh. I'm surprised, but this show, like, I'm pretty sure this is like a full show. I have been watching this show as well. I believe I saw the first 2 episodes of this. This one, again, kind of isekai trash, you know, video game isekai trash, but at least it's somewhat entertaining. That's about it. This one, complete isekai trash. Or well, I'm not sure if it's an isekai. I don't think it's an isekai. It's complete trash. It is complete fantasy trash. Again, if you're wanting more fantasy trash slop, then this is it. Enough said. Don't know, second season of something I've never seen. Oh yeah, this is also, I saw the first episode of this as well. Also complete isekai trash. You watch this show, right? And you can tell from the first 2 minutes that it's not taking itself seriously. And it has nothing to do with the fact that he gets reincarnated. It has everything to do with how he talks to the god that reincarnates him. Like, you know, a show isn't taking itself seriously when, you know, you're doing the reincarnation thing and the god asks the guy, what would you like to take with you into the new world that you're being reincarnated to? And the main character goes, oh, I want a cute girl partner. You know that they're not taking themselves seriously. Because no real human, like modern day person, would ever say that in that situation. So immediately, instead of like taking itself seriously and actually like, you know, having the main character think about, you know, what he might need in this new world, they immediately make it into a joke. 1 hour special, I don't know what this is, some sort of sequel to something. Nope. Yeah, I mean, okay, well, that's that. Oh yeah, I wanted to give you an example here. All right, so look at this, and then look at this. Look at this, and then look at this. Look at this, and then look at this. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting, isn't it? Even some of the colors are the same. Blue, yellow. It's like the same idea. It's the same slop, almost, right? And I'm not saying that, you know, 2 shows can't have similar promotional art. What I am saying is that, what are the odds of that happening? Or like promotional arts being dissimilar happening in the same season? What are the odds of that? This basically just shows how goddamn tropey and similar everything has become in the anime industry. So yeah, ultimately the shows that I'm going to keep an eye out are this show. This one is kind of a maybe. I'm probably just gonna wait and see if anyone ever talks about it. Otherwise, I'm probably gonna skip this show and this show and then this show. This show is probably the best new thing that's coming out this season. Second best, maybe this one, and then third best, maybe this one. These 3 right here, they're kind of a maybe. I don't really know yet. I haven't really seen any of them. But I watched the first episode of all 3 of these, and they seem to be pretty decent. Or at least they could be pretty decent. They could still get worse. But yeah, that was the fall season of 2025. Nothing too special this season, unfortunately. We haven't had a really banger season for a while. Of course, yes, there's the sequels as well. Kind of a, I don't know, kind of a mediocre season, seemingly. I think it will depend on these 3 shows right here. These 3 shows. But yeah, I have been FonRath, the arbiter of anime. I hope you enjoyed, and I shall bid you adieu, ladies and gentlemen.